Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Thriving with Linda. I am definitely the host of this podcast. My name is Linda Ndungane, and we're on a journey of discovery, and we're looking at personal mastery as a theme for the next couple of podcasts, just sharing thoughts, sharing expertise that some people have been able to gather on this great thing called personal mastery, and experiences that I have had and have gathered from people who definitely know better than me. And interestingly enough, right, this song came to mind, and it was so real for me. It was so real. Just the lie to me, make me believe everything you say. Just lie, 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 lie. I'd rather have it that way. Do 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 do. So I really do love the oldies. So as I was listening to that song, I mean, just sticking to the chorus, it just dawned on me just how much one lies to herself. So, sometimes you need to lie to yourself to just get certain things done. You need to push yourself to eliminate some of the things that have been very disabling to become the person that you want to become. And I think that's just a reflection that I made on myself. And I looked at some of the things that I really needed, and one of them was particular validation. Validation in the sense that I had a need to be validated by a particular being in my life. So I honestly think people who say, external validation is not important or it shouldn't really matter as much as what happens within you, have not really been in a state situation or gone through a trauma, if I can put it like that. But in my case, I mean, looking at being somewhat rejected by someone who, for me, is in a position to not really have a choice, but to completely be about me and validate, that you're actually great, you're actually awesome, I actually love you just the way you are, has led to a couple of things. And I think why I love sort of dwelling on looking inward in most of my engagements is because I've learned just how important that is. And hence the theme, of course, and hence why I'm talking about it on the podcast, because it's important to be okay. It's important to do the inward work so that when you begin to be seen in the world, understood by people, show up for things, you are showing up whole, you're showing up as exactly who you were born to be. And for some of us, right, it's the ideal that hasn't taken place, of never really hearing affirming words of a father. And that sticks out for me because I've constantly sort of been building a frame of what that would look like, what that would sound like, what it would feel like. And I think if you have that, and you have that foundation, it's sort of easy to lay the ground of how to love yourself and how to be okay when you don't have that opportunity. And I think it came about because I was looking at personal mastery from a perspective of it being a process of also loving yourself. It's important. It's important to love yourself. It's important to feel that you are worthy of love, and love within yourself, right? For some of us, right, it's hearing those affirming words that lead us to being people that love, people that are able to love themselves. And for me, it was the affirming or the need for affirming words that I didn't get from a father. And being me, constantly building a frame of what that would look like, feel like, and even dreaming up that lie, and lying to myself to say, no, this is how it's supposed to be, and in my head, making it real. And when you make something real that doesn't exist, there's always those triggers that come about. I won't lie, like I've been working so hard on this path towards personal mastery, looking at the parts of EQ like empathy, learning to love openly and publicly with no reservations because of what I deemed a good fix. Good fix being, okay, let me explain. So my fix to this was constantly viewing love as something I had to work very hard for. Understanding that in order for another person to affirm me, I would have to give a whole lot before I get it. And I think for myself, it's always been that journey of saying, what is it that you're doing that is so important, that makes you worthy, that makes you a person of love, of wanting love, of deserving love, of loving yourself even. I think it got to that point. And I'm now realizing that, you know what? This is the reason why it's so easy for me to walk away. That sense of rejection and experience of rejection has sort of amounted to me being a person who built a wall. And in the journey of personal mastery and learning to love oneself, I've had to break down that wall. And in breaking down that wall, it leads me to this point that I wanted to share today. What I learned and found personal mastery to be and have revealed within myself, right, is that the first healing language is truly loving yourself. So what did I do that was a clear sign that I had not healed and I was not loving myself the way I was supposed to? And I think to some extent it still happens. To some extent it's still a thing. And breaking it down, over the past couple of months has really been an exciting mission for me. Because in essence, how I used to express this need for validation and a sense that if I do right, I'll not be rejected, was working very hard, being super diligent, just to hear the affirming words, and not public recognition, not high-flying words, not things that would really jog me up to such an extent that I'm on a placard or something like that. But just hearing that one person say, you really showed up for me, I'm so grateful. That one call that says, if you were not around, I don't know how we would have pulled this off. These are things that really touch me. It's those affirming words, those things that have now replaced some of the key foundation for me that was missing. Now, I'm not saying I don't need that now and people shouldn't appreciate that when it happens. But I think for me, with this personal mastery journey and learning so much from the different experts I've been sitting with and the coaching journey that I've been on for some time now, is now I deliberately know that I don't need that as much. Reason being, it's become evident to me that no matter how hard I try, that will never replace the need I have for that I love you from my father. But the constant need is what then disables me from loving me and learning what not to tolerate. And if you are mastering self, you then build the right things that then enable you. You put the right mechanisms in place, the right systems for your life, and you make decisions in a way that builds you instead of pulling up walls or barriers to your success. So obviously we're talking about thriving. This is Thriving with Linda. And why I'm being open about this is I was sitting with a group of women. So there's a group of women who I do sessions with, and we have these coffee break sessions where we talk about things that bother us the most, around motherhood, around being women who are single, women who have, child traumas, women who are going through things that they've experienced in adulthood and they're still building from, divorce. Like I said, women, we love to talk. So in this group, and me being the youngest, I then realized these same women are going through what I'm going through. Because all this time I thought, I must be the only one. And these are women that are much older than me, in their late 40s, early 50s, talking about this need to hear the voice of a father say, "You're doing great. I actually appreciate you." In that cause, of course. But now I'm realizing that it's important, having a daughter, to then being that pillar and living within this journey. Because you know what? Another thing about personal mastery, you are never finished. You are never finished in this learning process of life. Yep, you never finish it. Things change, you evolve, and become new according to what your calling is, because that on its own has different shapes and what you are called to do. Let me wrap up. It is a bit of an emotional one, I must say. So, how do I define this in a way that leaves you yearning for more? Because I like to do that, right? So, my journey has been one of letting go of validation on many levels. But my journey still needs me to remind myself why. And I think that's why I'm talking about the why under what is personal mastery of loving oneself. And all I'm saying is, part of defining what personal mastery is for me is knowing how to love thyself fully, with no need for external validation, and that can be hard. Depends also what you've hidden deep inside. And knowing that, the deep things that we hide, those are the things that other people are going through as well. Anyway, just like everybody else, we all go through those times, we all go through those situations where we have to lie to ourselves, we have to lie to cope, and we can sing it. So, you know what? Sing it with me. Like I did earlier, there's nothing wrong in getting to a point where you understand why, why do you love yourself? And why do you not love yourself sometimes? Being able to love yourself for who you are and being able to express yourself in your fullest form. When you are realizing your personal mastery and living it, you are not ashamed to say what you truly think and who and how and what you believe is yourself. Personal mastery is about having that confidence to express who you are and love every aspect of it. And I think in this year, I'm learning to love even the parts that are not that great, even the parts that make me feel like I am not deserving, because those are the ones that will lead me to thrive. So let's first love who we are, and the world will learn to love us. As we thrive, I think I just want us to know that we are loved. There is always someone out there appreciating you for who you are. Thank you for joining me once again. If you like what you heard and think it can help someone, please share, subscribe, rate us. Until next time, abundant blessings to you and yours. Bye.